America has once again shown its penchant for divisiveness and hate. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Chase, the man a lot of you wish you could raise, but will never, quite literally and frankly. Ace is the representation of masculinity, healthy masculinity that we've been crying out for, but it makes a lot of you uncomfortable because you've not seen it play out in real life before. We talk about boundaries, how women should have boundaries, how we all should have boundaries, but somehow it makes a lot of you uncomfortable seeing a man exercise his boundaries. And so in this video, we're going to take a deep dive. Ace came into the villa, and for a lot of you who refused to watch the intro, yes, he did say that he and Shelley met a few months ago. So yes, they did meet and they did say it in the first episode. If you watched, you would have seen that and not attack them online and make up false stories and narratives. But let's get to the main point that rattled a lot of people who literally do not understand human interactions. When Ace coupled up with Amaya, she began to make advances and name calling babe for a couple that had only been a few hours old. She tried to get physical, and by what we see now of Amaya and Brian, where they're literally in each other's throats after every sentence, actually, they don't even complete full sentences before being down each other's throats. That is exactly what Ace was trying to prevent, up to the point that he had to sleep outside when everyone else was sleeping in bed because he did not want a situation where something happens in bed at night and someone gets ideas and then says in the morning, but you did this, but you did that. That is the representation of a man setting boundaries that a lot of you are not comfortable with because you've not seen it. Because, quite frankly, a lot of you are used to manipulating your way. Yes, I said it. A lot of you are used to manipulating your way into relationships. You manipulate with tears, you manipulate with sex. Yes, I said it again. Sex is a manipulation tactic. And so Ace standing his ground to the end made a lot of people uncomfortable. Now, let's talk about this so called cultural reference that Brian defended Amaya over and said, in our culture, we call everybody babe. I call bull on that. Even if it is true, the reason I call bullshit on it is because why was that babe selective? Why didn't Amaya call everybody in the villa babe? Why didn't she call the girls babe? Why didn't she call the guys babe? Why wasn't her mouth leaking with babe for everybody else but the person that she just coupled up with? And so, in a few hours of barely knowing this person, of barely even having conversations to get to know your couple, you start calling them babe, and then you blame your culture as the reason why you're acting that way. No, absolutely not. And so, her fans get in defense of her and use culture as an escape. No, you cannot escape. We have to stand 10 toes down and be held accountable for our actions. And once again, Ace had to defend himself and stand on business because, frankly, that is how a lot of men get into sticky situations by not knowing how to extract themselves out of it. A lot of you in relationships even try to hold the person you're with accountable and say, well, when the girl was making that move on you, why couldn't you take yourself out of it? Well, Ace now represents an example of a man trying to extract himself of a sticky situation. And what does America do? Blame him. Yeah. So, yes, I said it before and I'm going to say it again. Ace represents healthy masculinity, the masculinity a lot of you wish you could raise your sons to have. And he represents a man setting boundaries and standing on it 10 toes down. So, from today till tomorrow, I will forever respect Ace. I haven't even gotten into how he literally coached the guys in the villa to be better men and to serve their girls. From the breakfast he would make for Shelley, bringing her flowers from we don't even know where he plucked those flowers from, but we know the villa would they would extend their budget. He did little things like that. He planned dates. He showed the guys how to plan dates. He encouraged them to be thoughtful. Breakfast in the villa wasn't even a big deal in the beginning until Ace did it religiously every single day, bringing meals for Shelley. To the point that it turned some people's heads, some girls' heads in the room where they're doing makeup, like, oh, she got two pancakes and I got one. That was Ace's influence, making the men step up. Anytime the men had issues with their connections in the villa, they would go to Ace. What should I do? This is what's going on. And he would literally advise and coach them through it. So I haven't even gotten into all of that, but I just wanted to say that Ace is a class act. And for those of you that still try to demonize him, it shows that you have a long ways to go. Now let's talk about my good sis, my darling Olandria. Olandria represents the firstborn daughter that takes care of everyone, but is rarely ever taken care of. Olandria also represents Black women that have been told that you need to take care of men and that someday, one day, someone might take care of you eventually. I'm here to tell you that newsflash, it is a lie. You must never take care of a man that shows no interest towards you. I love Olandria's growth journey through the villa because we see the difference between her first connection and her last connection. We see in Olandria's journey with Taylor the stark difference between the way he took care of Olandria versus with Clark. Within 3 days, Taylor was already setting up dates for Clark. But when he was coupled up with Olandria, the boys, specifically Ace and Nick, had to help him set up a date for Olandria as if he did not know how to set up dates for girls. But when it was time to take care of Clark, he willingly went to the boys and told them, hey, I want to set up a date for this girl. So you must never do things for a man because he knows exactly what to do to take care of you. He knows exactly what to do to wow you. And so if a man doesn't do any of those things, it simply means he does not care to wow you. And it means he does not like you. One thing I don't like about the way Taylor treated Olandria was because he lied. He flat out deceived Olandria. He told her, I'm also a slow burner. I don't rush to physical. I don't do anything physical. And he made her think that he was exactly the way she is. And so Olandria invested weeks and weeks into this connection, only to realize once Clark walked into the house that Taylor was actually lying. Taylor should have absolutely come clean to Olandria and told her just how he told the boys. Because you guys remember that scene where Taylor told the boys that he's not physically attracted to Olandria. And as Black women, we're not surprised because a lot of Black men are colorist. So he should have flat out told her that from the beginning. But Taylor used Olandria as a lottery ticket to stay in the villa. That is something that will never ever make me get on board with Taylor ever. The way he deceived Olandria. Something Olandria said when she finally realized that Taylor did not have good intentions towards her absolutely broke me. She said, after all of this time that I've spent building this connection and building this man, and the moment I heard building this man, I was like, oh my goodness, we were lied to and told the same script. You must not build a man. A man should come already built. He should be willing to better himself. You're just there to add on to his life. So anytime you walk into a connection or you like someone or you find this guy and you think you have to build him, stop. I need you to stop and pause and realize that you're about to fall into the same script and into the same lies that we've been told. Another thing about the idea of building a man is that somehow you think that he owes you this loyalty as a reward for all your years of building him. And the truth is, he doesn't owe you that. He doesn't owe you anything because you're not meant to build a man in the first place. So when Olandria said those words, it broke my heart, but I also know that it was something that we're all told growing up that we have to build men. And my greatest joy about Olandria's journey is that eventually she turned things around. She realized that you don't have to build a man. She realized that you don't have to give all of yourself or too much of yourself to make a connection last with someone. And eventually she found Nick. I love her integrity. I love her loyalty. I love the fact that after the first time her and Nick coupled up, she was able to say, you know what? We both have other connections in the villa. Let's focus on those connections. And as life would have it, as God would have it, everything fell together in the perfect place. And her and Nick found each other again and they were willing to pursue that connection. I love what they built. I love how open she was and receptive to receiving this love that she was previously told she has to work for. And I'm sure right now Olandria sees the difference between love that you don't have to work for and love that you work for, because Nick absolutely pampered that girl. Nick absolutely took care of Olandria. Nick swept Olandria off her feet. And I know initially she was sort of hesitating and wasn't sure, like, is this real? Does he really like me? And that also goes back to show how Black women are conditioned and raised to sort of receive love. We're not taught to just receive love. It's like if love lands on our lap, we're meant to be suspicious because how dare it be this easy? How dare it come to us without us working and toiling and giving, so much of ourselves and raising our hands and telling the guy, like, hey, you should like me. And so when Nick liked her and liked all of her and pampered her and took care of her, it was a little bit suspicious in the beginning because she didn't have to do anything for it. She didn't have to work for it. And so that's a lesson for all of us that watched, all of us that have been in that position at some point in our lives. You do not have to work for love. The right love will find you and stand by you and say, hey, I want you and nobody else. And I wish Nick and Olandria the best, whether it ends in love or it ends in a true deep friendship that definitely opened her eyes to the kind of love she deserves and the kind of love she'll one day receive if, if they don't end up together long term. I know that that connection has done that much for her. And I know that our girl Olandria will never ever put herself in a situation where she has to fight for a man or build a man or accept crumbs because listen, none of us, we're not accepting crumbs anymore. All right, guys. Now let's talk about my girl Shelly. Listen, Shelly is the woman that a lot of women wish they were. I'll say that again. Shelly is the woman that a lot of women wish they were. And I know that's why she triggered a lot of, and I'm going to say this, white women. She triggered a lot of white women because so many men in the villa were all over her. And how dare she get all these men all over her without having to work for it? Hmm. How dare she get all these men all over her and she's a black woman? Clock it. So I know that a lot of viewers, especially the white women viewers that voted her down, and that basically killed her spirit, guys. Once Shelley was voted down, once she was downvoted in that competition, I saw our girl's spirits just get low. And honestly, that was so cruel. That was so unfair of viewers to do to her. And that has led me to the conclusion that it was nobody other than white women that cannot imagine and cannot fathom a black woman being desired, highly ravely sought after, and highly loved. Because the men that went after Shelley, we saw from Ace, who did so many things to impress her, to the guys like Austin, who were just chill but really liked her, and to the guys like Chris, who came into Kasamo and swept her off her feet. Guys were literally all over Shelley in the house, and I loved it. I love the fact that Shelley did not have to do anything. That's why I said in the beginning that Shelley is the woman that a lot of women wish they were, because she didn't have to work for the love she received. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to change herself. And get this, unlike Iris, that was glued to every man that she was coupled up with, Shelley didn't have to do that. A lot of women think that when you're pursuing a love connection, you have to separate yourself from your friends and go glue your body to this man 24/7. I hate that. We need to change that narrative. We need to change that script. I know a lot of women even brag about it. I've seen a short about it one day. Something about like, oh, I'm now coupled up with my guys and I ditched my friends. No, you don't have to do that. And so Shelley represents a woman that was fiercely and totally loved. And so Shelley is a woman that was highly sought after and desired by every man in that villa. Yet she did not stray away from her friendship. She actually kept the girls together. She was the glue of the girls in the villa. Everybody came to Shelley with their problems. Shelley was always giving advice, giving support, giving encouragement, helping the girls get dressed and look good. Shelley was absolutely 10 over 10 that girl. She was supportive for the girls. She was there for the girls. And honestly, I'm really sad and disappointed at all the girls in the villa that none of them, apart from Olandria, none of them were there for Shelley when she got downvoted. And for me, that told me everything. And that's why I started this video the way I started it. Because Shelley is the kind of woman that a lot of women that are not fully secure in themselves are jealous of. And I could see that in the villa. I saw it. I saw it very clearly. The fact that this girl who supported every single one of you when you had all your trials with different guys, now she gets downvoted by America for no reason, and you guys were not solidly behind her. That told me a lot. There was a lot of insecurity and jealousy in that villa, but Shelley stood 10 toes down, and in the end, she walked away with the love that she deserved. She walked away with someone that was intentional about her in every single way. And for me, the best thing that Ace did for Shelley in that villa was when they were actually not seeing eye to eye, but Ace still brought Shelley breakfast. That is love. That is care. That is attention. He did not waver. He continued doing every single thing he was doing, even though they were both upset at each other. And eventually they sorted it out. So that tells me that Shelly is the girl and the woman that she thinks she is. Shelly, like, she has so much love for her friends. She has love for her family. And I know that wherever she goes in life, the fact that she knows herself, the fact that she's confident in herself, all she's going to do is just attract good things into her life. And honestly, I look forward to following Shelly's journey. Shelly is absolutely that girl. 10 over 10, 100%, a woman that is confident in her own.